Hi, the Night Confession channel is with you. Welcome. On my channel, I talk about women's stories that my subscribers send me.
Part 1. When I tell this story, my chest still tightens. We had been together for almost 10 years. I always thought we were lucky to find each other. Friendship, support, closeness. She wasn't just my wife, she was my anchor. I trusted her so much that I couldn't even imagine one day I'd end up in the role of the betrayed husband. It all started subtly. She began staying late at work, saying she had new projects, new colleagues. I believed her because I'd never had a reason to doubt her. I would bring her tea late at night, help around the house if she was busy, and maybe that trust blinded me. But then I started noticing little things, the way she looked at her phone, the messages that came too often and that she hid. She said it was colleagues, nothing like that. I wanted to believe her, but inside, something had already cracked. Part 2. Over time, the little things turned into obvious signs. I noticed that she started leaving the house earlier than usual and coming back later. She suddenly changed her style, hairstyle, and manner of speaking. Everything seemed strangely familiar, as if she were trying to appeal to someone else. I began observing her behavior quietly. At first, just as a silent witness. I recorded dates, times, details, where she was, who she talked to, how she reacted to calls. I realized that every step she took was bringing me closer to the truth. It was terrifying to see that the one I trusted completely was gradually disappearing into another world, and that realization was bitterer than any quarrel, any past betrayal. I felt I needed to know the truth, even though my heart had already guessed it. One day, I decided to act decisively. I checked her phone without hiding. There were messages, calls, photos, everything confirmed my worst fears. I sat there, shaking, staring at the screen, feeling a storm of rage and at the same time a pain that words couldn't describe. I couldn't believe she chose someone else's arms over mine. Everything we'd built together, trust, support, love, was collapsing like a house of cards. And in that moment, I realized I had to stop this, but not with yelling or hysteria. I had to act so that she would feel the inevitability of the consequences. I decided to wait, to give her the chance to reveal herself. I became more attentive to the little things, to her words, her gestures. Gradually, I collected all the evidence, like a spider weaving a web, patiently, carefully, methodically. Every new message she sent stirred a storm of emotions in me. I felt anger, betrayal, but at the same time a cold focus. I knew that each of her mistakes, each word against me was a step toward a finale she couldn't undo. And one evening, when she came home later than usual, I was ready. The laptop was on the table, carefully opened, with a flash drive. I knew it contained recordings, evidence, everything needed for her to finally understand the magnitude of what had happened. That night, I realized that trust is not just a feeling, it's a responsibility. And when it's betrayed, consequences are inevitable. But I also understood that my strength lay in calmness, in patience, in letting the situation unfold until the truth came out on its own. Part 3. The day came when I realized I couldn't wait any longer. I had prepared everything in advance. On the table was the laptop with the flash drive, the chair positioned so she couldn't leave, the laptop screen facing her directly. I wanted her to see, to feel. When she came back, I acted as if everything was normal. Jokes, smiles, light conversation about everyday things. But inside me, everything was boiling. Every movement, every glance, every word I analyzed like a chess player before the final move. I asked, "Do you want some tea?" She nodded, smiled, and then I took out the flash drive and placed it on the table. Her smile froze. Her hands trembled. I saw her trying to hide her fear, but her eyes betrayed everything. "What's this?" she whispered. "This is the truth," I said calmly. "Everything you hid, everything you tried to conceal." She froze, as if the words were stuck in her throat. I turned on the laptop. The first frames, her messages, calls, photos. She tried to look away, but I gently turned the screen so she could see every message, every piece of evidence. I watched her face change, first surprise, then fear, then confusion, and finally silent panic. She tried to justify herself, but no words came. Every attempt sounded empty, meaningless. "You thought I didn't notice?" I said, quietly, almost calmly, but with heavy tension in my voice. "You were wrong. I saw everything. I watched. I gave you a chance to stop, but you chose to continue." She sat on the edge of the chair, her hands clenched into fists. I saw her body tremble and realized she was facing the full truth for the first time. The truth that cannot be hidden, the truth that shatters illusions she once believed. I didn't yell. I didn't provoke a fight. I simply watched, and it was scarier than any scream. My silence, my cold resolve, it was the punishment. She felt it in every cell of her body. When we finished watching, I said, "It's over. You chose your path." She remained silent. I looked at her one last time, into her eyes, and realized now she is alone, and so am I. But I no longer felt anger, only a strange sense of relief. Part 4. After that evening, everything changed. She no longer tried to justify herself, no longer tried to talk to me. Every glance she gave was tense, cautious, as if she feared I would expose her secrets again. And I understood. Trust was gone forever. We spent a few more days under the same roof, but they were days of silence. Every step, every word felt like walking through a minefield. I saw that she had become different, frightened, confused, and perhaps for the first time realized she had done something irreversible. I made a decision. Separation. I didn't want to continue living next to someone who had chosen another side. I didn't want anger or revenge. I wanted freedom. Freedom for myself and for her, so that we both could move forward without deceiving ourselves. On the day we moved apart, I packed her things carefully into boxes. She was silent. I was silent. On the table remained documents, personal items, a phone. We didn't look at each other. We just understood it was over. The farewell passed without shouting, without hysteria, only silence. And in that silence, I felt a lightness for the first time, a lightness that came with the realization that honesty and truth are more important than any illusion of love. Epilogue. Several months have passed. Life slowly returned to its usual rhythm. I began to notice simple joys again. Morning coffee, walks in the park, meetings with friends. I realized that trust is fragile, but restoring oneself is possible. Sometimes I think about her, about what happened, about the pain and betrayal, but instead of anger, understanding has come. I did what I had to do. I gave the truth a chance to surface. I preserved myself. Now I know, sometimes loving is not holding on, but letting go. And that brings freedom.
Thanks for your viewing. The best gift from you will be a like and a subscription.